Allegiance, led by Councilmember Robin Persicone. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 2041st regular meeting of Livonia City Council. This is a voting meeting. Minutes of this meeting will be approved at the next regular meeting scheduled to be held on Monday, June 1st, 2026. Will the clerk please take the roll?
Councilmember Persicone.
Present.
Councilmember Tashnik.
Here.
Vice President Brockway.
Here.
Councilmember McDonald.
Here.
President Reed.
Here, we have 5 members present. Councilwoman Budzinski is home recovering after welcoming baby Noah, and Councilman McCullough is out with some personal things. Okay, I will now entertain a motion for the minutes from the regular meeting of the City Council held on May 4th, 2026.
So moved.
Support.
Motion by Persicone, support by McDonald. Ms. Tashnik?
Madam Chair, thank you.
Try hitting the button.
I'll just talk really loud for a minute and see if we can get it. There's a correction to the minutes. Item number 170-26 passed actually 5-1, not unanimously as noted in the minutes. I actually dissented on that particular item.
Thank you. Anything else from council? Anything from the audience? Madam Clerk, please take the vote.
Councilmember Persicone.
Aye.
Councilmember Tashnik.
Aye.
Vice President Brockway.
Aye.
Councilmember McDonald.
Aye.
President Reed.
Aye, and the minutes are approved 5-0. Do you want to make sure yours is working? TV, I don't know who's working back there.
I think mine is. Yeah.
Erica, could you grab him and let him know? Okay, so for now, we will move on to audience communication since Martha doesn't talk during that. So we've set aside 30 minutes for audience communication. For anything that is not on the agenda, you will have 3 minutes to speak. Please address all comments to me, the chair. Good evening, sir. Name
Hi.
and address for the record, please.
Justin Gooch, 99971 Garvette. As we approach the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence, I'm reminded of the famous line, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. When we hone in on that last part, the pursuit of happiness, we imagine the near infinite possibilities our nation gives us to make something of ourselves through hard work, grit, and determination. We think back to our fathers before us who through hard work in a factory were able to buy themselves a house, a car, perhaps even a cottage in one of the Great Lakes that surround our beautiful state. I don't intend to stand up here and lecture people on the $4.74 per gallon gas price or the fact that we spend an average of $775 a month in our cars. Nor do I intend to bring up the fact that over 40,000 Americans die per year from car crashes and over 1 million are seriously injured. No. Council, my fellow Livonians, I'm here to talk about the fact that I am living the American dream, that I've worked my way up from poverty to a middle-class lifestyle, and it was possible simply because I had public transit there to pick me up to go to work, to go to school, to hang out with friends and make connections that would eventually lead to my very successful career as a software engineer. On August 4th, voters will decide whether to expand the smart bus system, and I ask everyone to consider voting for it. Not just to have a ride down, or going down Middlebelt straight to the airport, not just to be able to get to downtown Farmington, downtown Plymouth, downtown Northville, and Detroit, but to allow young adults the same opportunity to work towards the American dream without the very substantial cost of owning a car. Public transit is not just a convenience, it's a bridge to the American dream. And last time I was here, there was a gentleman that spoke, and I think he talked about the smart transit, and he said he can't beat chess. And he's right, he can't. On May 31st, at the end of the month, on Sunday, I am having a chess tournament at the Wilson Barn. I hope everyone can be there. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening. Name and address for the record, please.
Chris Hench, 9812 Cranston, and I also want to urge people to support the millage for the mass transit. I think it's a real pity and almost an embarrassment that Livonia isn't connected to the surrounding communities by a bus system. It punishes people who cannot drive for whatever reason, such as my daughter, and people who want to have a smaller ecological footprint by using mass transit instead of cars. And I was around in Livonia when the last one was voted down, and there was a strong racist tone to the people who were against it. And I suspect that is going on again this time. They're afraid of people coming to Livonia from Detroit, and I think that's just awful. And while I'm up here, I want to urge you to start discussions on a non-discrimination ordinance, and a strong one. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, ma'am. Name and address for the record, please. You have 3 minutes.
My name is Ella Sangdahl, and I'd rather not give my address, but I am a Livonia resident. I am also here tonight to speak in support of the countywide transit ballot measure that Livonia will be voting on in August. I recently had the opportunity to listen to a number of Livonia residents discuss the effects that relying on the limited Live and Go service has had on their lives and their work. The group included staff and students from our 2 local institutions of higher learning, senior citizens, people with disabilities, and parents of those with disabilities, 1-car families, and 0-car families. The group provided a compelling cross-section of reasons why voting yes on regional transit would help our community. College students at Livonia institutions have had to turn down full tuition scholarships because they have no transportation to get to campus. They often miss out on extracurricular activities off campus and even class-related activities if they cannot find a ride. High schoolers without access to a vehicle cannot use Live and Go until they turn 18, and even then the service has limited hours and destinations. Senior citizens who don't drive are dependent on Uber if they can afford the rapidly increasing costs and frequent surge pricing spikes associated with that service. One person with a disability that precludes driving paid $80 one way to get to Ann Arbor just to hang out with friends. Families with one vehicle struggle when multiple family members need to be in different places at the same time. According to the most recent data available from the U.S. Census Bureau and SEMCOG, more than 1 in 5 residents of Livonia is a senior citizen, and nearly 6% of those seniors live by themselves. 12% of Livonians have at least one disability, and 3% of households do not own a car. There are many groups in our community that would benefit from reliable, inexpensive public transit. For a family whose house is worth $300,000, just under the average home value in Livonia right now, according to Zillow, the transit property tax would cost $12 per month. For just this amount, we could help ensure our neighbors can get where they need to go when they need to, whether that's in Livonia or not. As a bonus, we'll boost our own city's economy by helping the rest of the metro area access opportunities for school, work, and play within Livonia. Both because we care about every member of our community and because we want to ensure Livonia continues to be a key part of the interconnected Southeast Michigan region, I urge all Livonia residents to vote yes on regional transit on August 4th. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, sir. Name and address for the record, please. You have 3 minutes.
Steve King, Coventry Gardens. I was at the last meeting, and I wanted to speak before you voted on this, and you violated the Open Meetings Act. I reached out to the Attorney General, and we're moving forward with that. So before you voted on this, I thought it was important that you know that I reviewed the HVAC contract for the recreation center. 3 companies submitted bids, 2 were disqualified. That left 1 bidder, W.J. O'Neill, at over $1 million over the life of the contract. One of the disqualified bidders came in at about half the cost. Another was dramatically lower. So let's be clear, this is not about picking a higher bid. This is about eliminating competition and then moving forward anyway without rebidding. That is not how you protect taxpayers. Okay, so let's look at the documents. I went through them, 22 pages. Where in these 22 pages does it clearly define what the city is actually paying for? Where is the full equipment list? Are they servicing rooftop units and chillers? Are coils being washed and drain lines being cleared? Are belts and standard wear items included? Is this a full service contract or a fix-on-fail situation where the real costs come later? I wonder if any of you know what I'm even talking about. Are parts included, or is this just labor with additional markups on top? Because here's what the numbers actually show. The hourly labor rates across all 3 bidders are nearly identical. So this price difference is not about labor, it's about scope. But right now, the scope is either unclear, undefined, or not being presented transparently. This is over $1 million on the consent agenda. And here's the bigger issue. If 2 out of the 3 bidders were disqualified, including 1 at roughly half the cost, why was this not rebid? Why was there no effort to restore competition? Why was the city comfortable proceeding with a single remaining bidder at the higher price? That's not just a bad look, that's a breakdown in the bidding process. Taxpayers deserve to know exactly what they're getting for over $1 million. And right now, based on what has been presented, that is not clear. This should have been rebid, and at a minimum, the full scope and justification should be made public before a contract like this is approved. Now, this happens meeting after meeting after meeting. And tonight's meeting, you're going to spend millions of dollars, and all this stuff's going to be on the consent agenda. It's going to be rubber stamped. Nothing has ever been pushed back on. You've never denied a penny of spending, and that has to change. Thank you.
Good evening, sir. Name and address for the record, please. You have 3 minutes.
Thank you, Christopher Martin, Great State of Michigan. And Steve is exactly right. Nothing has ever been turned down. I don't care who stands at this particular podium and works for the city of Livonia. Nothing has been turned down. And the majority of time, it's not even questioned. It's just rubber stamped, as Steve mentioned. Sunday, I went out to Greenmead, spent some time out there, and looked at every building that's out there. Those cedar shakes, as I mentioned before, I thought that's a bad idea. And the buildings that had the roofs replaced with cedar shakes, they're curling up. It's just something that is not durable unless it's religiously maintained, and that's not going to happen within the city. The Shaw House out there, you should go out and take a look at the roof on it. It's horrible, horrible. Next thing is recently I attended a ZBA meeting. Interesting. And those need to be broadcast. And the reason for that is that if your appeal is denied, okay, after giving them $450, and then it's 21 days to appeal at the circuit court, and I believe it's after the minutes are officially certified. So that needs to be broadcast, though, those meetings. If we're ever going to waste any money, it's going to be spent wisely on that rather than other things. Also, getting back to the ZBA, there were 7 people in attendance, and the ZBA members are, it's a 3-year appointment. Now, the gentleman who's coming up has 2 3-year terms already, and I believe a U.S. Council President might have the next either reappointment or a new person. Well, since Mike Testa has already spent 2 3-year terms there, okay, I would like to see some new blood there, to be quite honest. And I think it should happen. My recommendation, if you wanted to interview him, I don't know if he wants the job. I haven't talked to him about it. But several meetings ago, Lucas McGraw was here, an architect, a builder. That's the guy you should interview and put on there, in my opinion, if he indeed even wants the job. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, ma'am. Name and address for the record, please. You have 3 minutes.
Good evening, members of the Livonia City Council. My name is Ken Snyder. I'm here today to talk to you about something deeply personal to me. Transportation independence and what freedom really means for residents like me. Nearly 30 years ago, I was the very first patron of Livonia Community Transit. That service wasn't just a ride, it was a lifeline. As a resident, I relied on it to get to home safely after school activities, especially in bad weather. From 1997 to 2006, it helped me attend school prep college. It allowed me to work at Laurel Park Mall on the weekends and give me a chance to spend time with family and friends. In short, it gave me freedom. Freedom means having the ability to live your life with independence, to get to work, attend school, participate in your community, and make choices without unnecessary barriers. Fast forward to today, and that freedom has been significantly reduced. I am now very limited in how I can use transportation in Livonia. The current Live and Go service has restricted hours and limited reach. As a substitute teacher at school, I very much love subbing there. I often need to be at work by 7 a.m., but the service doesn't begin running until that time. That makes it unusable for my job. If I want to meet friends after work, like I'm sure most of you do, I'm forced to cut my time short because service ends at 6:30. I can barely spend an hour with them without needing to head home. As an election worker, I'm required to be at polling locations by 6 a.m. and often don't leave.
Ma'am, I'm going to offer more time, okay? I'd like to make a motion for more time.
Support.
Motion by Persicone, support by Tashnik. Madam Clerk, please take the vote. Sorry, we have to vote on giving you more time. It'll be quick.
Give us one moment.
Councilmember Persicone.
Aye.
Councilmember Tashnik.
Aye.
Vice President Brockway.
Aye.
Councilmember McDonald.
Aye.
President Reed.
Aye. You can continue.
And often don't leave until I can't reach.
Yes, you can.
Okay. I'm trying to talk loud, so.
You're doing great.
Where was it?
You were talking about election, working
And-
the polls.
And often don't leave until 9 or 9:30 at night. On weekends, when I serve in this role, I have no transportation option at all. My mother still has to drive me everywhere. Work, civic duties, and daily life. I am 49 years old. I want the same independence many others take for granted. If I want to travel outside Livonia, my only option is often a rideshare service, which can cost up to $160 for a round trip. That is simply not sustainable. Even tonight is an example. This meeting starts at 7 p.m. after transportation services has already stopped running. Without my friend bringing me, I wouldn't be able to be here to speak with you. Expanding service and partnering with SMART is a smart idea and would be a powerful step forward. It would connect Livonia residents to a broader regional network, extend hours, and provide access to jobs, education, health care, and community life beyond city limits. This isn't just convenience, it's equity. It's about ensuring that people with disabilities have the same opportunities to live full, independent lives. When you invest in accessible, reliable public transportation, you're investing in your community. You're enabling people to work, contribute, and participate fully in a more fully society. Freedom should not depend on whether someone can drive or afford expensive alternatives. It should be something every resident of Livonia can experience. I encourage you to consider expanding transportation options and strengthening partnerships with SMART because it's the smart thing to do, and restore and enhance that freedom, not just for me, but for so many others in our community. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am. Ma'am,
Yes.
you're up. Name and address, please.
Valerie Prisvora, 15687 Surrey. I have a vision of Livonia where everybody can get where they want to go at a price they can afford. And passage of this proposal will be one way to get us there. If you can afford a car, the maintenance, the insurance, fine. Can't afford one? We can help you out. We can provide affordable transportation as a community. Can't drive, either permanently or temporarily? We got your back. Let's have the backs of everyone in Livonia. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, sir. Name and address for the record, please. You have 3 minutes.
Thank you. John Waterman, 10582 Celine Road. I have with me today 2 individuals from Peak. I'm the executive director and founder of Peak, which empowers individuals with disabilities through active modes of transportation: biking, busing, and walking. Council, thanks for giving us this time. First, I have here Jeremy. Jeremy, can you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Jeremy Tubbs.
And Jeremy, do you have a disability?
Yes, I do. Reading and writing is tough.
And that's called a cognitive impairment, right?
Yeah.
And you don't have to tell people that, but are you proud of your disability?
Yes, I am.
When we first met, did you talk openly about your disability?
No.
No. Did people pick on you?
Yeah.
And it was tough. Did you have ways to get places?
No.
Do you drive?
Nope.
How do you get places right now?
I don't.
You don't?
We don't have city buses in Woodhaven.
And so you're sitting at home.
Yep.
Have you learned how to use the bus?
Yes, I have.
So at Peak, yeah, we trained you how to use the bus, but you're sitting in a community that has no transportation. You're a prisoner in your home.
Yep.
Are you being stuck there? Can you travel on the bus from the Peak building? Where do you like to go on the bus?
The movies.
The movies. Where else?
Target.
Target. And do you have money to spend?
Yes.
And do you want to live independently?
Yes.
Great. And so did you know you went to what school?
Joe Brighton.
Yeah. And there's travel training there, right?
Yes.
And you want to become a travel trainer?
Yeah.
Because we believe individuals with disabilities train other individuals with disabilities better. They make it digestible. They make it simple. They make it so they can travel. With that, Jeremy, did you know there's a school here called the Garfield Training Center?
No.
No? Actually, we played them in Special Olympics. And they don't have the smart bus here either. They're stuck at home like you are. And they're not even getting the travel training. Livonia needs to have transportation for all members. We need to make sure we can have a complete independent society that can take care of themselves and not be taken care of by others. Thank you, Jeremy.
Yeah.
Sean, you ready?
I'm Sean Cosman at Peak.
Go closer. You're Sean Cosman with Peak, right? And so what do you do with Peak?
Bussing, walking, biking.
Busing, walking, biking. Do you have a driver's license?
No,
How do you get around?
I'm a bike.
On your bike? Would you like to take the bus to places?
Yes,
Yeah. And so have you learned how to take the bus?
yes,
Yeah. And you need a little more work?
more work.
That transfer is tough. And so
Council.
I'll make a motion for additional time. How about 1 more minute? I didn't put a time limit on the last one. Is that sufficient? Okay.
I'll support.
Motion by Persicone, support by Tashnik.
Councilmember Persicone.
Aye.
Councilmember Tashnik.
Aye.
Vice President Brockway.
Aye.
Councilmember McDonald.
Aye.
President Reed.
Aye. You have 1 more minute. Thank you.
Excellent. So, Sean, would you like to invite any of these council members to come take a trip with us and learn how people with cognitive impairments travel?
Yes.
Yeah. And so anytime, we'd love to show you what this means and what this means for independence. This is not a simple thing. This is the difference between us being part of the community and us being locked in our home. Sean, do you have anything else you want to say? Do you like being up here?
Not this time.
And you really don't like being up here.
Sorry.
It was tough. And you basically were in the building working on bikes, and what happened?
Power went
The
out.
power went out, right? And you were scared of the storm, but we still made it, didn't we?
Yep.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Council.
Thank you. Good evening, sir. Name and address for the record, please. You have 3 minutes.
Okay. Matthias Reed, 14702 Ellen Drive. So I am a Livonia resident, and I want and need transit. I've lived here for 26 years. During college, I took the bus to Detroit when I attended Wayne State University, though I had to drive to neighboring cities. Before I started taking the bus, I always heard the argument, no one rides the bus in this region. So imagine my surprise when I first took SMART during college to find buses full of people from all walks of life. It changed me. I met people who I would never met otherwise, an experience one doesn't get from driving. Around the same time, I also became aware of the problems having no transit has on our community. When I worked at a fast food restaurant in Livonia, I had a coworker spending half of his paycheck on Uber. Another coworker needed to walk from Westland in the snow because his car broke down. At a minimum, he walked at least 4 miles. A manager lost his apartment and lived in a hotel across the street because he didn't have a car. I shuttled coworkers to their homes because they had no other choice. The bottom line is people need affordable transit to access jobs and job opportunities. People also need it to get around. For a time in 2022, I lost the ability to drive after long COVID caused severe vertigo. I was discouraged and felt deeply isolated as I had no other option but to get rides from friends and family. My freedom was lost. Livonia Community Transit wasn't an option, as I technically was not disabled, nor was I elderly. It also doesn't operate beyond city limits, so I wouldn't have even reached my doctor in Farmington Hills. If I had the option of riding the bus, I would have without hesitation. Some people claim that adding additional taxes to fund transit expansion is a waste during current economic uncertainties. Personally, I would rather take transit than having to spend hundreds of dollars per month on gas, car insurance, and general maintenance. With gas at close to $5 per gallon, I would like an alternative to always needing to drive places. In economically uncertain times, transit is critical to moving people affordably. Metro Detroiters need options to travel around the region, and transit can make that possible. I plan to support the Wayne County Transit millage and encourage others to do so as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, ma'am. Name and address for the record, please. You have 3 minutes.
Good evening. I live on Hillcrest and Farmington Hills, but I lived in Livonia for 19 years. My kids graduated from Coolidge Elementary, Riley Upper Elementary, Holmes Middle School, and Stevenson. So
I'm sorry, ma'am, what was your name?
I'm sorry. My name is Deborah Freer.
Thank you.
I used to live at 18849 Hillcrest.
Thank you.
I'm here to talk about community safety. My mom was hit by a drunk driver in February 3rd, 1999. As some people may know, when that happens to you, your care is funded by the Michigan Catastrophic Fund, right? The first 10 years of my mom's care after the accident cost $20 million for the first 10 years. And that was just supervision to make sure she didn't hurt herself, start a fire in the microwave, those kinds of things. She still thought she could do all the things that she used to do before. I really wish the gentleman that hit her would have had public transit, and I wish that would have been in the forefront of our society's mind. So he could have spared our family so far 25 years of taking care of my mom and her having limited options. There are people that get behind the wheel after they've had too much to drink. Since she was hit, medical and recreational marijuana has been legalized, which is fine, but we don't want those people behind the wheel. And my dad, who was taking care of my mom for quite some time, drove way past when he should have been driving. He had diabetes and diabetic neuropathy, and he couldn't feel his feet. And I went for a ride with my parents one evening just to see what it was like, and he was driving really slow, and he kept on looking down at his feet to move his foot from the gas to the brake and back again. Providing safe, reliable public transit is really important to the safety of our community, because not everybody should be behind the wheel. And we don't give it for seniors if it's time to retire from driving, they don't really have a whole lot of options. I'm 55, I'm gonna be a senior one day, not too far in the future, and I'd like to retire from driving as well. I would do it today if I could. But I hope you consider this, and thank you so much for your service.
Thank you. So we're going to do the two that are in line, and then we will have a second audience communication at the end of our agenda. Good evening, ma'am. Name and address, please. You have 3 minutes.
Sarah Bluen, 18864 Lathers Street. I am a homeowner here in Livonia, and I also work as a transportation planner. I used to work for Oakland County as their transit principal planner, and others have talked today about the reason to support public transit, and I want to talk more about the how and the practicality of how it happens and what's possible when this kind of funding gets passed. So through my role at Oakland County, I saw firsthand that we were able to expand service hours and days of service for demand response service that would change the lives of those who have spoken earlier this evening, and also the bus lines that were able to be expanded throughout Oakland County as a part of that millage have provided greater connectivity options for community members across the county. So I saw firsthand how that happened in Oakland County. Passing a similar millage here in Wayne County, specifically here in Livonia, would greatly expand opportunity and economic development for the community. So just wanted to voice my support for that proposal. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, ma'am. Name and address for the record, please. You have 3 minutes.
Excuse me. Good evening. My name is Anaya Kelly, and I am on Cleveland Street. I'm actually not a Livonia resident, but I have several friends in Livonia, and I'd love to visit them sometime. It's not very possible currently with the way the transportation system is set up and my lack of a car. You've heard a lot about public transportation today, and that's not a surprise to me, because anywhere where there isn't a thriving public transportation system, there is a great need and want for it. And so I'm not surprised to hear so many people talk about it. I just wanted to not tell you what transportation isn't, but a few things transportation is. Public transportation is an essential service. It is a benchmark for up-to-date infrastructure in any city, township, or what have you. Affordable, reliable, accessible, and frequent public transportation is a public service. It is present in every respectable developed nation. Today, you've seen the disabled, you've seen the elderly, you've seen the young, the previously in school, and many other demographics tell you about the importance of public transportation, not in an abstract manner, not in a hypothetical, but in a real life, I'm here and I exist, and this is important to me as a Livonia resident type of way. I just came here today to reiterate, I wanted to revisit a point in the fact that was made earlier. This millage that will be passed August 4th will cost $8 to $12 per household per month. As expensive as things are today, you can sneeze and someone will charge you $12 and then ask for a tip. So I don't think it's breaking the bank per se to ask for a $12 increase to bring freedom, independence, and change the quality of life for so many Livonia residents. I just want to come up here and take the last minute to mention and remind everyone that disabled people do exist in Livonia. Students do exist in Livonia. The elderly do exist in Livonia. And a friend of a friend recently told me that Livonians vote for their best interest. And there's nothing wrong with that. But the meaning was clear behind that. Don't get your hopes up with this millage. Well, I just want to point out that many Livonians have came up here today and mentioned that this is in their best interest. And for you as an individual who may be able-bodied, may be out of school, may have everything you need in the city limits and have a car that you can afford, many don't. And you could be one car breakdown away, one, hey, I have to change medications and now I'm dizzy around the time I need to drive incident away from needing a public transportation as well. So I'm not concerned when they say that public transportation is in your best interest and you should vote for it. Thank you for your service.
Thank you. All right, so that will wrap up our audience communication for the start of the agenda. We will now move on to council. If we have any announcements, I think last time I started this end, so I'll start with Robin. Do you have anything tonight?
I just have
I'm
one
Miss
quick.
Pony.
That's okay. I have just one quick announcement to make. The end of this month, May 31st, is the deadline for the neighborhood grant program. For many of you that know what that is, that's an opportunity where if you have an HOA or your street or your subdivision, your block, you can apply for up to $500 from the city to do things like a community event, a block party, beautifying a detention pond area in your subdivision, whatever it is that you want to do. So just a reminder, the deadline is the end of the month. I've been the chairperson for our subdivision since 2019, and we've completely redone our detention pond, and we mulched it and put beautiful bushes, and we update it every year. So it's a great program to take advantage of. I just wanted to remind you all, deadline is the end of this month.
Thank you. Ms. Tashnik, anything?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ooh, my mic is on now. It's a hot mic. I just wanted to give a shout out to the Livonia Police Officers Association for their community engagement event yesterday. It was a fantastic chance to interact with our officers, kind of see what they do. They had you could play the role of the police officer in a traffic stop. They had some fitness testing going on. They had balloon animals. It was just a really fun event, and it was great to see how much the community really supports our public safety officers. I've got my shirt and my sign ready to go in my yard, and we've talked about the transit millage tonight. We also have the upcoming public safety millage as well, and so I hope everyone joins me in supporting that. Also, this Saturday, we have our annual Memorial Day event. It starts at 9 a.m. It is at the corner of 5 and Farmington in that northeast section where the memorial is. It's a really moving event, and if you have the opportunity to get to that, I would highly encourage it. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Mr. Brackwitz?
Thank you, President Reed. Last meeting, we had a couple questions from residents. One regarding if you have animal carcasses or something in the roadway, what to do with them. Per response that I got from Government Affairs, if the animal is on a residential property, the carcass will need to be moved to the right of way since entrance to a private property is not permitted. If the carcass is in the right way of the city, it will be picked up for garbage pickup. Additionally, residents can call DPW, submit a ticket on the See-Click Fix website, or call the mayor's office for assistance if the garbage day is already passed and you have an animal body in the street. If the animal carcass is on a county road, residents can call 888-762-3273 or use the Reporter Road Hazard of Wayne County's website. So one question asked and answered. We also had a question referring to a couple of accounts that were mentioned during the receive and file. I did just get this information not too long before I left for the meeting. However, some questions like, what is Fund 265? It's a fund that's used for general fund expenditures that aren't specific to a department. And I'll touch base with the resident that asked the question, so I'm not going to belay the information, but to get the information, I'll get it out to those that have asked for it. And finally, I would like to make a motion to refer to Law and Education regards to Ordinance 15.44.090, Residential District Regulation, having to do with mesh on fences.
Any support?
I'll support.
Okay, motion by Brockway, support by McDonald. You want to expand on that?
Yeah, I've been speaking with the resident. They wanted just to review the ordinance that pertains to, right now the ordinance talks about having any kind of item on the fence as like a mesh being considered a second fence, which goes against the regulation. And they found that the type of mesh they were using actually seemed to be a deterrent to deer population in that area. I don't know about the science behind that, but I offered to relay this and have it discussed.
Thank you. Any other comments from council? Any comments from the audience on this one? Madam Clerk, please take the vote.
Councilmember Persicone?
Aye.
Councilmember Tashnik?
Aye.
Vice President Brockway?
Aye.
Councilmember McDonald?
Aye.
President Reed?
Aye. So that item will go to the Law and Education Committee. Do you have anything else?
That was it.
All right, Ms. McDonald, any announcements?
Thank you. I would just like the community to be aware that on this Wednesday, we are having Senior Citizens, Family, and Environmental Community Committee meeting. It'll be at 6 o'clock, not our normal 7. And we're going to be going over urban environmental concerns and also get an update from the Housing Commission in reference to Golden Oaks. Which I know everybody would be interested in learning more about that. So, and that's it.
Okay, thank you. And I just have 2 announcements. We have our Livonia Save Our Youth 5K on May 30th at 9 a.m. It says location City Hall, but it starts more over between like the police station and the old courthouse, and you can still register for that. It's at livoniasaveuryouth.org. It's a really nice 5K. And then I want to give a shout out and a big thank you to DPW, Zach Coppola, the emergency management and communication team. Last Thursday, we had almost a potential emergency, but we didn't because Zach Coppola, who's back there, stayed around until like way after midnight monitoring a water main fix, and then he was back here at 8 a.m. giving us all updates. So thank you to that team. We could still be boiling our water. Not that we ever did, but okay. So now we will move on to our agenda. Reports from the mayor and other city officials. We have received communication from the Department of Finance dated May 1st, 2026, forwarding the departmental purchase report for the month ending April 30th, 2026, and we have received and filed. And then we are getting an update from Erica Smith. She's walking away. She's our Director of Government Relations. Okay, here she comes. You want to stick around for this one. Good evening.
Good evening. Erica Smith, Director of Government Affairs. Good evening, Council President Reed and the rest of Council. On March 23rd, I provided a Council update to say that the administration was seeking quotes from contractors on a temporary ADA ramp for the entrance of City Hall. As of last week, the purchase order was placed in accordance with our finance ordinance, and we expect to see the ramp installed in June ahead of early voting at the end of July. So thank you to Clerk Miller, the Director of Emergency Preparedness, and our teams in engineering, finance, inspection, and DPW for their work and teamwork, input and teamwork on this. So thank you all. That is it.
Thank you. Great announcement. That deserves applause.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we'll move on to the consent agenda. Items 1 through 10 on the consent agenda will be voted on as one item. These items were previously discussed at the study meeting that took place on May 4th, 2026 and determined to be non-controversial. Do I have a motion?
Madam Chair.
Ms. Tashnik?
So moved.
Support.
Okay, motion by Tashnik, support by Persicone. Any comments from the audience? Good evening, sir. Name and address for the record, please. You have 2 minutes.
Okay. Justin Gooch, 9971 Garvette. Good evening, Council. As you know, on the consent agenda are the waiver petitions for the Costco gas station, a Meijer gas station, and a car wash. I want to be perfectly clear that I see no issue with these businesses being here. In fact, Millennium Park being directly off the freeway makes this location perfect for these specific businesses. I am not a NIMBY, and I see these as inherently beneficial to the city of Livonia. As I personally get my gas from Costco, I look forward to a shorter waiting time. However, I am urging you to take these items off the consent agenda so that we can have Costco, Meijer, and El Car Wash work towards a plan with Millennium Park to include a robust sidewalk network connecting all of the businesses at both the bus stop and Middlebutt Road. Right now, there is no way to safely walk from Middlebelt to Meyer without essentially walking in the road. Further, there's virtually nothing connecting the bus stop on the Costco corner of the business with Millennium Park, which is especially dangerous for people who use wheelchairs and use the bus to affordably get around. Before accepting these waiver petitions, I strongly believe that we should ask Meyer, Costco, and El Car Wash, as well as the owners of Millennium Park, to include a sidewalk network that connects all the businesses within the area to both Middlebelt and the bus stop. They can certainly afford to do so. As this is likely to be the last time we will have an opportunity to get a sidewalk network here and improve the walkability and bikeability of the mall within the southeast corridor, we should take this opportunity. Thank you, Council, for your time.
Thank you. Good evening, ma'am. Name and
Hi.
address. You have 2 minutes.
Okay, Chris Hensch, Cranston and Livonia. And I just wanted to make a comment on item number 5 about another car wash in Livonia after the debacle of the one over on 7 Mile. I'm shocked that, I wonder what's the compelling reason to have another car wash in a city that has so many car washes. I know you're not going to answer me, but it's strange to me.
Thank you. Good evening, ma'am. Name and address for the record. You have 2 minutes.
Cindy Fleming, Livonia. I also would like to ask that these items 3, 4, and 5 be removed from the consent agenda for further discussion, to include a sidewalk from Middlebelt to the bus station and from the bus station to Meyer as part of this development. We have a goal in Livonia to become more bikeable and walkable, and there is currently no safe way to do that, to access those businesses. I repeatedly see pedestrians and people trying to report for work racing across those 4 lanes with islands in between. It's very dangerous, and I think it should be done. Number 5, I would ask for a secondary reason to be removed from the consent agenda and for consideration, because it is controversial. The council voted unanimously to refer to law a moratorium on car washes. That it isn't in place is a shame, because here's another car wash. But it is controversial. Car washes in Livonia are controversial. So in my opinion, this item does not belong on the consent agenda. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else from the audience? Okay, Madam Clerk, please take the vote.
Councilmember Persicone?
Aye.
Councilmember Tashnik?
Aye.
Vice President Brockway?
Aye.
Councilmember McDonald?
Aye.
President Reed?
Aye, and the consent agenda passes 5-0. We will move on to unfinished business. Item number 11, this is the acceptance of grant of easement secured with monetary consideration from 7 Mile and Farmington Venture Limited Partnership for a storm sewer easement in connection with the storm sewer constructed with the Meyer development in the southeast quarter of Section 4. Mr. Zlinczyk?
Again, just a bit of housekeeping. We're all set.
Ms. Tashnik?
What Mr. Zlinczyk said, I was going to just say this is actually pretty common. Anytime we have a new development, we have to do the grant of easement, and so this is just housekeeping that we have to take care of legally.
Can I get?
I'll offer a motion. Okay, sorry.
Support.
Motion by Tashnik, support by Persicone. Any other comments from council? Any comments from the audience? Madam Clerk, please take the vote.
Councilmember Persicone?
Aye.
Councilmember Tashnik?
Aye.
Vice President Brockway?
Aye.
Councilmember McDonald?
Aye.
President Reed?
Aye. Item number 11 passes 5-0. Item number 12, acceptance of grant of easement secured with monetary consideration from 7 Mile and Farmington Venture Limited Partnership for a water main easement in connection with the water main constructed with the Meyer development in the southeast quarter of Section 4.
Madam Chair.
Ms. Tashnik?
I don't even think we need to go to Mr. Zlinczyk unless he really wants to speak.
Just a public water main so that once we accept it, we maintain it in perpetuity, a public water main for us to eventually connect onto the townhomes to the west. Thanks.
So as the previous item, this is, once again, housekeeping when we have a new development, and what a great new development that's looking to be at 7 in Farmington, and I'll offer a motion to support.
Support.
Approve.
Motion by Tashnik, support by Persicone. Any comments from council? Anything from the audience? Madam Clerk, please take the vote.
Councilmember Persicone.
Aye.
Councilmember Tashnik.
Aye.
Vice President Brockway.
Aye.
Councilmember McDonald.
Aye.
President Reed.
Aye. Item number 12 passes 5-0. Item number 13, acceptance of grant of easement secured without monetary consideration from 7 Mile and Farmington Venture Limited Partnership for water main easement in connection with the water main constructed with the Meyer development in the southeast quarter of Section 4.
Madam Chair,
Ms. Tashnik?
what has already been said in items 11 and 12, I'll offer a motion to approve.
And I will support.
Motion by Tashnik, support by Persicone. Any comments from council? Anything from the audience? Madam Clerk, please take the vote.
Councilmember Persicone.
Aye.
Councilmember Tashnik.
Aye.
Vice President Brockway.
Aye.
Councilmember McDonald.
Aye.
President Reed.
Aye. Item number 13 passes 5-0. Item number 14, request to approve license agreement for a portion of City of Livonia Middle Belt property with Consumers Energy for a period ending July 1st, 2026. Mr. Goldstein, did you want to comment on this one?
Is it on? Unless there are any questions, the basic thing is the utility company needs some ground for a staging area for equipment and materials so that it can do work in the area. This is not a new concept. We've done this many times over the years, and they're supposed to put the ground back to the way it was as best as possible. There's not been a history of any problem. There's only been a history of it working. So unless there are any questions.
Council? Can I get some direction?
I'd like to offer a motion to approve.
Okay.
Support.
Okay, motion by Persicone, support by Brockway. Any other comments from council? Anything from the audience? Madam Clerk, please take the vote.
Councilmember Persicone.
Aye.
Councilmember Tashnik.
Aye.
Vice President Brockway.
Aye.
Councilmember McDonald.
Aye.
President Reed.
Aye. Item number 14 passes 5-0. All right, that concludes our new business agenda, and we will move on to audience communication for anyone that did not speak at the beginning of the meeting, and also for anything not on the agenda, and you will have 3 minutes. Good evening, sir. Name and address, please.
Peter Dale, 9812 Cranston Street. Just wanted to comment on the public transportation issue again. I'm the treasurer of the Livonia Historical Society, and we had a speaker today, and during the conversation with the people there, about 100 people, everybody, now this is a senior group by and large, but everybody there agreed one of the worst things that ever happened was the car companies got together and forced the folks in Lansing to okay the removal of the easements for the tracks that did the interurban mass transit. People still remember 100 years later that this happened. Public transportation is important and people like it. Now, I know there are financial reasons that people will claim, but for the public, for the community, and I'm not just speaking about Livonia, I'm talking about the Metro Detroit. Anytime there is a hole in it, it damages and weakens people. And damages the localities, the cities, the townships, and everything. We have to be tied together. We are a single unit, and I just urge people when they vote on August 6th or whenever it is, to vote for this. Everybody will benefit. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, ma'am. Name and address for the record, please. You have 3 minutes.
Hi, my name is Chris Urso, Livonia resident. I have a question, and I know you guys don't answer them, but that's why I'm asking. The woman that was just speaking mentioned something about, I know you're not going to answer my questions. Mr. Brockway, that was great that you did answer specific ones. And I've only just recently started attending meetings and paying attention to local politics. We voted you in, and I don't understand how residents can come up here and ask questions or voice their concerns and then walk away with silence. I know there's a time limit, so I understand you can't answer everyone or have a discussion, but isn't there some way that maybe someone can record the questions and post on the website? Okay, so this person, or nameless, it doesn't matter, asked this question, we've talked, this is the answer. Because I don't understand how we put you in office to represent us and we bring our concerns, our questions, but we walk away from this. And once in a while someone will answer, and Mr. Brockway, you did great tonight with answering some of the questions from the last meeting. We need answers. We want to know why things are done the way they're done or why decisions were made. And if someone takes the time to attend a meeting and voice their concern or question, I really think that it needs to be answered, succinctly, and just every question needs to be accounted for and answered, and that's all. I'm not here to stir up any trouble. I don't understand that, so if you can answer, you can let us know. That'll be fine. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other audience communication? Good evening, sir. Name and address for the record, please. You have 3 minutes.
John Pastor, 33461 Capri Court. Maybe unlike most of the people, I am against this millage because it actually takes our rights away as Livonians to actually participate in our own system. Remember back in, about 20 years ago when this came out, before this council, years ago, Don Knapp spearheaded to get us opting out of that transit system. Our system is great for our community, great for our seniors, and great for our disabled people. The smart one is not going to do that. The smart one is only going to be, I believe, only on Middlebelt and Plymouth and maybe one other road. Tell me how many disabled people are going to sit in a wheelchair or being disabled out on Plymouth Road or on Middlebelt Road. It's not going to help them. Our Livonia Transit goes to their house, picks them up, and takes them to their place. That's the main difference between the transit systems. And actually, they've taken our right as a community to either opt in or opt out. If this system was so good, if SMART was so great, don't you think we would have opted in years ago? The ridership and all that stuff, the ridership is way down. They need us because they're not making money. They come to our communities, such as the outdoors or the Livonias, the Westlands, and all the communities that actually donate to the SMART system. We will not benefit from this. Our citizens won't benefit for it. Now, if SMART goes into every part of the community in Livonia, different story. But they're not. They're only going to be on certain roads where our Livonia transit system takes care of our people, and that's what we need to do, is take care of our people. We go to that system, I believe we'll lose our system. If that's what you want, then have at it. It's a bad idea. I'm appalled that our state legislator, our state rep, and our senator, and our governor all put this into law to take our right away to either opt in or opt out. Shame on them for doing that. And I urge all communities not to vote for this unless we get a better plan that actually do take care of the citizens of this community and the rest of the communities. This system does not work. It has failed. That's the reason why they're reaching into our pockets to help fund SMART system. So with that, thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, ma'am. Name and address for the record, please. You have 3 minutes.
Hi, Laura Janica on Munger Street. This is really a question of equity. It's not how much money goes into my pocket, but does everybody have an equal chance to live their lives? And I want to tell you about somebody who came to council about 4 years ago, and she was a engineer, a woman engineer, and she was blind. And she came through the door to come here to talk. She said it cost her $30 to come here to talk. And she had to be picked up at a certain time on the little bus and go to work. And she had to come home at the exact time. Well, my husband's an engineer. It doesn't always work that way. Sometimes you got to go a little earlier, got to go a little later. But they're done at 6. So this engineer, beautiful woman, stuck in her home like a prisoner. She can go on the little bus between 7 to 6, and that's it. And then spend $30 to come here for deaf ears at that time. Who knows who's listening now? But it's an equity question. I hope we take the side of equity. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other audience communication? Mr. Brockway?
Thank you, President Reed. So we have a few people mentioning about, conversation going back and forth during these meetings, not getting answers. And I understand that there's frustration with that. You want answers as you're asking them, but the format of our meeting right now doesn't really lend to that. However, on Livonia's website, on the council page, there is a link. There's a link for each one of our individual emails that you can email us. There's also a link to, it's kind of like submitting a ticket that goes to all council members. And finally, if you have a concern or an idea, there was a couple good ideas that were mentioned as far as talking about, walkability, sidewalk and whatnot for what we had approved on the consent agenda. Those things need to be brought up before we get to this stage, or at least it's helpful if it gets to us before it gets to that stage. Because if we discuss this stuff, we discuss it during study sessions, which can go a little bit more into detail, or if you have a question and the individuals that represent the various groups or companies are here, that gives you a good opportunity to speak and say, hey, I got this idea, and then one of us can kind of piggyback off of that and say to the petitioner, hey, could you do this? So again, I encourage people, the study session is where you want to get some of this, some of your questions asked and hopefully get an answer by the regular meeting. However, I understand not everybody can make the meetings. Again, you can email us. Our phone numbers are also online as well. You can call us if you have questions. The packets are posted ahead of time, so you get a chance to look at this before we get to the meetings. These are all opportunities for you, the residents, to get this information and send us the questions so we can get them ahead of time. So then maybe we can give you an answer with the next meeting. Right now, I think that's the best that we can do at the moment. So I just wanted to relay that.
Thank you. Anything else from council? Ms. McDonald?
Thank you, President Reed. I have a question for Mr. Taramino and Mr. Goldstein. I love the idea of possibly getting sidewalks over in Millennium Park to see maybe if there's something that we can do. Is there any way we can reach out to the property owners over there and find out if they would be interested, or if the businesses would be interested in supporting some sort of initiative for sidewalks for walkability?
Yeah, we can most certainly reach out to the developers. There's multiple properties that make up Millennium Park, so it's not just a single landowner. There's several, but we're happy to talk to some of the principal players to see what could be done. We already are in discussions about improvements to the bus stop, but the sidewalk network becomes a little more complicated than that. So,
right.
But we can certainly try.
Okay. Well, if you could possibly find out for us and report back next meeting, would that be possible? Or I don't know how much time you would need to do
probably
that.
a little bit more than that. Probably
Okay.
at least a month. Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah. All right. Well, we'll have to keep it on the bulletin board. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything down here? Can I get a motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Support. Motion by Persicone, support by Tashnik. We'll be back at 8:15 for the study.